Not too long ago, I was a guest on another YouTube channel where the topic of conversation was gasoline versus diesel engine. Now, the hosts of that channel owned a gasoline engine where I owned a diesel engine of the same make. Then it dawned on me that while I was riding in tandem, so to speak, that the car I was in, well, we did a walk around of the updated version of that some months ago, but never actually got to borrow it and do a proper review. So immediately I called Mitsubishi and I said, may I borrow the Xpander? And to which they said, well, Kako, it's about damn time. Which brings us here today with the 2022 new Xpander. We're going to answer two questions that we weren't able to answer during our walk around, which is number one, how is it really to be an owner of the automobile for a couple of days? And number two, is it actually worth the bump in price? See, just before the refresh, the Xpander was available at 1,128,000 Philippine pesos. Now, this 2022 model is available at 1,180,000 Philippine pesos. What say we find out together? Do you need help purchasing your car insurance? Head on over to AutoDeal.com.ph/car-insurance. Here, you can compare prices and customize your insurance coverage from many of the Philippines' top providers. When you've selected the insurance that's best for you, simply fill out the application and complete the transaction with ease through Visa, MasterCard, GCash, GrabPay, or PayPal, and receive your policy within the next business day. Get the best deal on insurance with AutoDeal. Now, as this is a refresh, there are a lot of minor changes that can be found on the vehicle. And if you'd like to see a more detailed look at what the differences are between this and the outgoing model, I did mention it, but I forgot to point it out. The walk around is either on the link somewhere above or in the description down below. Now, with that being said, the lights are in a different configuration. The DRLs stay familiar, but the lights down below take on this rather T-shape now. The grille is really nice too, with the black trim on top, and this mesh down below really looks good. And obviously, it's still flanked by the chrome on the sides to make up the dynamic shield design, which was introduced in the country when the Xpander first launched. And of course, your halogen fog lamps found down below. Now down the side, you've got a chrome accent underneath the windows that stretches from the A pillar all the way to the D pillar. Pretty nice, and it matches the chrome cover on the side mirror with your repeater found right there. Also matching, you've got very chiseled 17-inch wheels that, like I'm saying, it matches the rest of the exterior features of the automobile, even with the cuts found down here. Here, you've got 225 millimeters of ground clearance, disc brake up front, and drum at the rear. Worry not, this decal does not come standard when you purchase your all-new Xpander. They just put that there for, well, for idiots like me that every once in a while forget what it is that I'm reviewing and refer to an automobile like this like a space wagon. Forgive me, I'm old. The rear lights are all LED and also have a sportier look. It mimics the front with a T configuration, albeit upside down, but you see what I'm getting at, right? When you open her up, she's got about enough space definitely for an overnight bag or perhaps even a collapsed wheelchair. No issues there whatsoever. And then when you fold the third row, you're going to be looking at over 750 liters of space, actually closer to 780 liters of space with a flat lips, which means that if you're going to be loading boxes that are either light or heavy, sliding it in will not be an issue whatsoever. Now, one balikbayan box, no issues there. But if you need to load more, then obviously you fold the second row, and then you've got even more than double the space at over 1,600 liters of space, and that many more balikbayan boxes. Now, forgive me, I need to take this out because I would like to show you what the rear seats are like when you're sitting in them. Oh my God, I can't bring it up. Okay, this is a little bit of it's because I'm a weakling. Sorry. In the third row of the Xpander, first is ingress and egress. Very, very easy because the seats fold. Look at that. no issues whatsoever. Then let's talk about legroom. Legroom is actually pretty decent. Decent if the second row decides to give a little, because you can actually move it forward ever so slightly to give you a little bit more legroom in the back. Now, Jack says that he was able to fit 2 gentlemen the same size as him back here. Only if these seats were probably pushed forward as much as possible. That was probably the only way. If not, then I don't think that somebody of Jack's size sitting back here and then somebody of Jack's size sitting up front also would be very, very comfortable. But for persons like myself that are under tall, yeah, no issues. Elbow room is very, very good. Toys, nothing spectacular, but decent, I guess, for the third row of an MPV. You've got bottle holders on either side, a little bit of a slight cubby hole, I don't know, for pencils and whatnot. It's not very deep. And then you also have a 12-volt socket found, just one on the right-hand side. You don't have your own air vents, but there are more than enough air vents in the second row to share for the entire cabin. Now, in the second row of the Xpander, again, let's start with legroom, which is actually pretty decent. This is the maximum amount of space that you can get if that's Jack driving. But if somebody that were, let's say, for example, 6 feet tall back here, that might be an issue. For under tall persons like myself, and if I wanted to be a little bit generous to the third row, I could actually move my seat forward. Not much space there. But the point is that you can be generous to the third row if you wanted to. To continue with the generous amount of space in here is check out the headroom of this car. Look at that. That is really great. Elbow room is okay if you're going to be 3 passengers back here, much better obviously if you're only going to be 2, but a third passenger wouldn't be an issue because the tunnel is actually pretty darn low. I need to clean my shoes, don't I? Okay, toys back here include USB charging points. You've got A and C. No air vents found down here because, again, the air vents are found up here. There are no temperature controls, but there are blower controls, which is nice. Bottle holders on either door. The door cards are actually pretty darn deep. And you can store much taller bottles there. And then you've got a center armrest that comes down. Check it out. And it's nice and padded and soft with 2 cup holders found in the center. That's actually pretty cool. I like that. That's a friend. Oh, it's nice. It's very nice. It's like a unicorn. Unicorn. You can stop now. I need some privacy. The front seat of the Xpander is actually pretty easy to get used to because getting to your proper driving position, although it's not electronic, manual, yes, definitely, but you can move the chairs up and down, forward and back, and then you've got a telescopic steering wheel, which is, if I can figure out where the lever is, I'm sure it's there, there you go. It's very easy actually to operate. Your vision inside the Xpander while you're driving is pretty good too, thanks to a very flat and clean looking dashboard. Not even the infotainment system is in the way, so you have an unimpeded view. Plus the quarter windows on the A-pillars, that's not a lot, but it really does help. You've got a 7-inch infotainment with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Now the system is adequately responsive and works without a hitch. Yeah, it's pretty good. It also doubles as your reverse camera, which is always going to be a nice touch and a nice plus in larger vehicles. There are a lot of still scratchy plastics found inside the car. You can tell, which is found up here and on the doors as well. But it's a mix of other textured stuff on the automobile, which is like the door cards, or rather the doors have soft touch here. On the dash, it's also soft here. Then you've got a nice change right there. Storage is also very, very good inside this automobile. You've got a large box here, 2 cup holders here that can hold fairly large bottles, large door cards on the driver and the passenger, not as large as those in the back, but big nonetheless. And then here you've got a cubby hole here too. It can't actually hold your phone in a, portrait style, or rather landscape style. It's got to be in a portrait style is what I'm saying. But then again, you also want your phone away from you as far as possible when you're driving. So there's a nice spot that you can actually put it in with a nice stopper right there. Oh, and also to continue with the amount of storage spaces here, check this out. They retained this drawer found down here for, well, it's for shoes. Really can carry up to 2 kilograms. Didn't we put my shoes in this, like the last time we reviewed an Xpander? Yeah, we didn't we? Yeah, I remember that. Anyway, also, if you do remember to subscribe to our channel, we do appreciate it. We'd also appreciate a like on this particular video if you deem it necessary, or rather, not necessary. What's the word that I'm trying to look for, Jack? Yeah, you're a man of many words. Just get in the car, let's go for a drive. Come on! Under the hood is a 1.5-liter 4-cylinder gasoline engine that produces 103 horses and 141 Nm of torque that sits on top of a 4-speed automatic transmission, and it also carries 45 liters of fuel. Now, in the city, it does a decent 10 kilometers per liter, which is okay. On the highway, much better at 22.5 kilometers per liter. So theoretically, if you had a straight road and no traffic and you were traveling at, let's say, 80 kilometers per hour, you could make it from Metro Manila to Bicol and Bank on a single tank of gas. Considering it's a 4-speed automatic transmission, that's not bad. When you're in traffic, the steering, to be honest with you, feels a little bit flat. Like it doesn't return immediately the way that you'd expect it to. At the very least, though, it's light. When you're on the highway, it's different in the sense that, well, there is a tad more steering corrections to keep the car straight than you'd be used to. It's nothing like the way Hollywood portrays people driving in black and white movies so many years ago. No, nothing like that. At the very least, I can say that it just keeps your alert level up, which is generally really better for the road. The nice thing about this car is that even if it's an MPV, it's got a relaxing side to it, which is cruise control, and that, I absolutely love. Now, I know a lot of people will say that, sure, the car feels great and light when you're driving it and you're all alone, or it's just you and Jack, but what about when it's at its full capacity of, let's say, 7? Well, I can tell you that with 7 passengers, it will definitely make it into any elevated parking structure or ramp that you've got inside the city with a full capacity. I'm not saying it'll do it with the greatest of ease, no, but it also won't do it kicking and screaming. So power, truthfully, is adequate. Now, the handling on the highway is obviously behaved because the roads are definitely much smoother. But inside the city with, let's say, for example, Swiss cheese looking rainy season roads, well, I can tell you that it is actually quite behaved for what it is. And truth be told, dare I say that it's actually even more behaved than the likes of, let's say, the Rush or the Ertiga, and might even actually be tamer than, I don't know, even the Innova. Oh, and not for nothing, but I was pleasantly surprised at the audio system of this automobile. It's nothing premium by any means necessary, but it's actually quite powerful and not bad for the price that you're paying, really. Informa. Now, to the 2 questions that we asked earlier. Number 1 is, what is it like actually to be living with an Xpander? I don't think the question was framed properly, because it should be more like, how do you want to live with the Xpander? Because it's so versatile. There's so very many ways that you can use the Xpander, either to move your loved ones or to use it for cargo. Yes, it definitely has its drawbacks when it comes to its drive. But then again, you do understand that you're buying an MPV. So you're not exactly buying an SUV and you're not buying a sports car. You know where your money is going. And second, is it worth the bump in price? Let me answer that in 2 parts. Number 1 is the fact that, Well, it is just an MPV, as you might say, but it has creature comforts inside that you don't expect from an MPV, such as Android and Apple capabilities, an electronic parking brake, you've got cruise control. Sure, it does have a lot of scratchy plastics on the dash here and the doors and whatnot, but it's a mix of rather with soft touch materials as well. And then second is, it's undeniable that all car prices worldwide are going up thanks to inflation. So the bottom line of it all, is it worth the price? Truthfully, the answer is yes. Yes, it is.